How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and today I'm going to be showcasing to you how I already have a 6-link day 3 of the league. You'll be seeing some background gameplay that I have pretty much overlaid myself right now of me finding these 6-links. I found them actually back to back, and I'm going to be explaining the tactics I used to acquire them that you can use on pretty much every league start from here forward at this point. And these are entirely usable 6-links because of the way things have been changed. There's no more Varici crafts or anything like that. You can utilize all of these 6-links basically the moment you get them, provided you have the currency to fix them, because you can roll the colors on corrupted items quite easily. You just need to do a little bit of delving and you'll get the recipe, and as a result you can change the colors on any chess piece or any weapon or anything like that. So as you can see in the background, we are farming Vol side areas. Now, how do we go about that? You see, if we're farming blood aqueducts or if we're farming maps, we will get access to Vol side areas every now and then. But when we clear a Vol side area, they drop fragments. These fragments are normally used to clear Adziri, and then eventually you'll be clearing Uber Adziri from fragments dropped from the boss. That is the primary use of these fragments, or to amplify a map with 5% quality. Alternatively, what a lot of people don't know is that if you put a fragment inside the map device and press activate, you will create a Vol side area, much akin to the one you are seeing right now that dropped a 6-link staff a minute or so ago. Now, why is that important? Because for whatever reason, Vol side areas drop 6 links and 5 links like candy. It's probably because most of the things that come out of the Vol vessel are corrupted, and corruptions do have a higher chance for whatever reason to give 5 and 6 linked items. Now the downside, of course, is that these 5 and 6 link items are corrupted. And that is a downside if you get a item with bad rolls on it. However, the upside is you have a 5-link or you have a 6-link. Now, if you don't understand why that is an upside or a downside, you are missing a rather big portion of PoE like gameplay and game knowledge. Because, to put it simply, in certain builds, the 5th or 6th link is worth potential millions of DPS. For example, in my build right now, I'm going to pause this and then skip ahead to run it in the background in a moment. If we take a look at my Patha building, that is currently doing 15 million bleed DPS, were I to take off a link on my setup right now, if I were to disable my Fortify, for example, I would lose 3 million combined DPS, almost 4 million combined DPS. My Ruthless, I would lose almost 4.5 million combined DPS. So you see how having this potential 6-link is adding a ton of damage. Now I'm going to skip just ahead a little bit to this one right here. And there's a couple of strategies you can utilize to make this a little bit easier. Primarily, just run the areas as fast as possible. Stockpile all of your fragments from running side areas while leveling. That is one thing I also did, was run as many Vol side areas as I could while leveling, ran them in maps, ran them in Blood Aqueducts as well, because I spent an hour or so in Blood Aqueducts farming, and this strategy has gotten me more 6-links in the time it would take to get me Tabula Rasa. And if you want to take a look at this item, this is what I am currently running on my character right now. This is a armor energy shield chest piece, with 87 life and double resists with 6 links, usable by armor-based characters or a energy shield character if they wanted to. Now, this is a very actually decently rolled chess piece. I did get quite lucky. That will take a little bit of time. But the thing that's going to amaze you is how many fragments did it take for me to get my 6-link. For this one, it took me about 30 fragments, which in the grand scheme of things is not that bad, because if you sit down and you run them like maps, you optimize yourself to survive, because of course at the start of a league, you can die very easily if you don't have, your resist sorted or your gear sorted, that sort of stuff. You optimize your character around defenses and not dying, and you just bunker down and run Vol fragments over and over again, and provided you did them while you were leveling, or, if you spent time farming a Tabula, you probably have fragments, provided you did the Vol side areas, or if you use Blood Aqueducts to gear your character before going into maps, like I personally do, you'll have found a decent amount of fragments. Doing Vol fragments sometimes also has a chance to drop fragments out of the Vol vessel, so it can basically sustain itself to a point, obviously. Sometimes you get one, sometimes you get two, and then sometimes you actually get none of them. One of the other things that you can do during your farming spree, which was something that I did myself, is use a setup that utilizes item rarity support. I believe I put it in my stash somewhere, but item rarity support is a blue support gem that gives you 40% increased item rarity. If you have the ability to do so, if you do enough damage already, which a lot of people generally do because a lot of builds are really high on damage nowadays anyways, you should be able to slot that in for just power farming, because the mob type you're going to be going up against is about level 70 to 69 to about 72 depending. I wouldn't run midnight fragments personally. I would save those for Ziri later on in the league if you need anything from her. But you're going to be going up against roughly level 70-ish monster level enemies, so a bit harder than Blood Aqueducts, about as hard as entry level mapping. And I got, of course, my 6-link from this, but I didn't get just one 6-link in my 30 fragments. No, I didn't get just one, I didn't get just two. I got 3 6-links in 30 fragments. Now, I did drop 2 back to back. One was dropped out of a vessel, and one was dropped off of an enemy, which the enemy, of course, was affected by the item rarity support, since I killed it with my main link setup. And then I got a 5-link as well, and I believe I had a couple of other 5-links that I didn't really care about. Now, you'll probably look at these and, see, oh, these are rolled like shit. The rolls aren't that great, the item's pretty meh. But, as I said before, 6 links is very important. Now, how do you go about fixing this item, and why is it still usable? Why could this item be used by a spellcaster, even though it's complete off-color? Because if you go into Delve, and you do a very slight amount of Delve, I got it at, depth level 40 or somewhere around there. Just the very starting delves, you will unlock a craft that allows you to change colors on an item. Let me go for, let me scroll down here so I can find it. You'll get at least one green, at least one red, and, at least one blue. And you'll think, okay, well, that uses chromatic orbs. Well, yes, but if you also put in a corrupted item, you can now craft those if you have chromatic orbs and vol orbs. So you can roll just at least one red socket and fully reroll the item for the price of 4 chrome, 4 vol. Obviously that costs a bit more at league start, but considering you're effectively getting a 6-link for a 6-link with decent colors, some RNG required, obviously, some assembly required, with decent colors, provided you have a rather good base. So, for example, my armor energy shield base, armor very primary, is going to be predominantly red, more than likely, with rolls. So the way I'm going to roll this to 6 red as soon as possible, once I farm the vols for it, is I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to click at least 1 red socket, and craft that until I get 6 red. Because since the base is predominantly red, when it does a full reroll, there's going to be a higher chance for me to get the whole item flushed out as red, which will then give me a day 3 with, I think, about a day or so played. Let me see my played. 1 day, 3 hours, 38 minutes played. I will have my 6-link chess piece with high life, 2 res, that will basically last me the rest of the league throughout generally all of my melee characters, unless for whatever reason I make something very insane. The reason it will last me the rest of the league is because I play solo self-found. So for those of you playing Trade League, wondering about this tactic, it will still work for you at league start. And of course, later on, you can upgrade to whatever it is you're going to upgrade to. Most people, probably your 6-link Queen of the Forest, or whatever you're deciding to play this league. But this tactic will still work exceptionally well for you. Item rarity support, Vol Fragments. Vol Fragments in the map device will spawn at level 70-ish area. And run through that, grab the Vol Vessel. Make sure to kill pretty much everything with your main skill, supported by item rarity, because this was a drop from a mob. So it's not just, you know, pop the fragment in, run to the vessel, click the vessel, and you're out, right? No. You want to actually clear everything else. One final tip I'm going to leave you off with before I end off this video is that if you are playing solo self-found, like yours truly, and you need Vol Orbs in SSF to roll these things, which is quite needed, the way you go about doing that is pick up all of the Vol gems that drop out of the vessels. Because I can't show you right now because I don't have enough of the gems on me right now. But if you vendor 7 of the Vol gems and a fragment with it, you will get 1 Vol orb back. Obviously, you're sacrificing a side area run, but 4 fragments and 28 gems, and you get a roll at your 6-link to potentially get the right colors. That's going to be all from me. Do let me know if you found this helpful and how many runs it took for you to get something usable. Are you going to be doing Vol side areas now in upcoming league starts? Because I definitely am. This was a strategy that I found from someone else that I wanted to see if it actually worked, and I wanted to just see if it was actually anything of note or just some weird strategy they had cooked up on their very high MF character that was kind of a lie. And no, it is actually very true. Some luck required, some assembly required, but the solo self-found player in me thanks them quite a bit. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, take care, gentlemen.